you wouldn't want to tear it. It'll probably be fairly tough. Like, it feels fairly tough, but oh, do you see that? Probably not. But anyways, I can see one of the letters now through the bottom. Ooh, that means that would be the layer that we're at. That would be as far as we want to go, I would say. So cool. That is excelente. I am at, whoops, like I said, go slow. I am at the layer that one has to be at in order to finish. Finito. So, when am I going to stick this on? I don't have a clue. I was going to stick it on the barn, but I don't want to stick it on the barn because I might sell the barn now. And you probably don't want this stuck on the side of the barn. But, so, I will probably stick it on a piece of wood. I mean, it's not a very good sticker either. It was just, well, it's kind of a cool picture. I don't know. Shit. I'm rambling. Okay, I'll shut this off and I'll finish picking this off. And then I'll show you prior to me sticking it on. Do 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 do. Can you see through? See, you can kind of see through, already. You can see through. You can't. Excuse me. Okay. In a minute. Okay. Okay, I have soaked this and I peeled it and just want to show you. See, you can go too far even. Okay, I've let this dry so I can handle it. Okay, there is a little bit of paper left there. I don't know if a guy can go right down. See, I'm close to that C. So what I was going to do was, maybe I'll soak this for a second. I'm going to stick it on this board, Just, it's got a really rough board on it. I've got a smooth side, but I was going to put it on the rough side because my plan with these decals is to be able to put them on a building, like let's say do a brick building, you know, and then have this stuck on there and make it look like it's been painted on there. So I want to stick it on something that's pretty rough in order to see how it contours to the thing. You know, yeah. Okay. So I've got my little bucket of water, and I shall put this in here again just to, because there is a little bit of paper left on it. But then, like I said, this is an experiment. It is really thin, though. You can see how close I've gone. You know, there's pretty much just that last little bit of layer of fibers, It's tougher than you thought. I think, or you think, actually. Maybe that's the lamination of it, you know, by putting on 12, 15 type layers of it. Because for a little while there, I just laid it upside down on the desk. I tried it on top of this, you know, granny grading stuff, so that, you know, I was thinking, you know, I don't want it to stick, because it's glue, right? And I don't want to put it upside down on something. But you know, shit, I was doing it right on the desk, just and then just scraping it off carefully. So you know, it's fairly tough, Start looking with wire. You can see it's just like, you know, it's like decal type shit now, So I will try to scrape by that C just for a minute, just so we can see what happens to the C. It comes off. So, yeah, you can only go down to the last layer of paper, because that's actually where your picture is. The picture doesn't, the ink doesn't actually stick to the glue, apparently. It's still stuck on that last layer of paper, So, yeah, you go down to just that last layer. Okay, so yeah. Make some watered down glue. And if you're doing something like, I'm just going to put it on the corner of this, if you're going to use something porous like this, I would imagine you should probably get it wet. So I'm just slapping it and dipping my fingers in the water and getting it wet. That's where I want to stick the decal. Okay, and use watered down glue. I forgot my friggin' paintbrush into glue last night, so I pulled the bristles out of the end of the paintbrush and I cut the ends, and then I can use the other side. This is Scott's in me. Ooh. What the ooh was, if you've gone down really close, like this, and be really careful with painting on the brush. I'm going to have to get a much finer paintbrush. You need a nice soft bristle sable hair type brush. That's what I like old makeup brushes, from stealing from the girls. They're nice, man. You use old makeup brushes. Some of those hairs they're expensive freaking brushes that they use for their face, man. But anyways, you get nice, big, soft, bristly type things. Anyways, so what I'm doing is I'm just coating this with white glue. And then I'm going to stick it on the wet spot of this board. And if this camera would have gone over there, you would have been able to see it, but you can't. So, which way is up? Doesn't matter. It's a test. You see no. Yeah. What's up? Oh shit, that's not what we want. Okay, that'll be good. And just paint it on with. Obviously, a guy could trim it way better than I did. Interesting. Anyways, we'll see what it looks like when it's dry. I'm just kind of using the wet glue and just trying to soak it in there good. You can see it's pretty tough, because, the back side is soft. That's where the paper is, but the top here where all the layers of glue are, that's pretty good. Interesting. You know where I went right down to the glue layer? Boy, that came off pretty good, So if a guy wanted to spend a whole whack of time, you'd pick, because you can see the picture from the back side, when you're working on it, you can see the picture through the back side. So just go really carefully with your razor blade right up to your colors or whatever, and you can get that really clear. I don't know. Anyways, let's see how well that sticks on there. Definitely worth experimenting with, man. Definitely worth experimenting. No, I'm using weldbond, okay? I don't know if typical white glue will work or not. I'm using weldbond. Don't know if it'll matter. Anyways, for really rough board, let's see if I can get that into the light for you. You can see that stuck on there pretty good. It's kind of crappy camera, I'm sorry. What can I say? Yeah, but you can see how rough this board is, right? So that's not bad for, just glue on a picture, right? It's worth experimenting with. If you're doing, building or something and you want an ad on it or something, I don't know. Cheap way of doing a decal. Well, it takes a little while. I mean, yeah, because you got to let it dry between each layer, right? So, you paint some on, come back an hour later, you paint on another layer, come back in an hour later and paint on another one. So, 12, 15, I mean, we're talking a couple days worth of doing that, right? A couple to 3 days, maybe. Depends. If you're doing, depending on what you're doing, I would probably start on the picture with a little bit right over top of the picture and try to keep it just on top of the picture, and then my next layer just a little bit past that. And as I did my layers, I would go out, I mean, you're working with water and glue, so I know, but I would try doing that. I would try to, so that the layers were tapered out towards the end. Like I cut the